Fleet Admiral Seo Min-jun stood in the command center of the Earth's Vengeance, humanity's largest and most powerful warship. The massive vessel was over 2 kilometers long and bristled with weapons that could crack planets. Around him, dozens of screens showed human battle fleets moving through space toward alien worlds across the galaxy. "All strike groups report ready for simultaneous attack," said his communications officer. "We have ships in position near every major alien military installation and government center in known space." "How long did it take us to reach attack positions?" asked Min-jun. 16 hours, sir. The aliens still have no idea we're coming. Their sensors can't detect our ships when we're using full stealth." Min-jun allowed himself a small smile. The aliens thought they controlled space because they knew all the official hyperspace routes that connected star systems. They had no idea that humans had been building their own secret jump gates for decades, creating a hidden network that could move ships anywhere in the galaxy within hours. "Execute Operation Reckoning," ordered Min-jun. "Show them what real military power looks like." On the Velkari homeworld, War Prime Thexkar had barely escaped alive from the disaster at Luna. His flagship was badly damaged, and half his crew was dead. He was trying to explain to the Velkari High Command how an entire invasion fleet had been destroyed by supposedly primitive humans when emergency alarms began, screaming throughout the capital city. "What is happening now?" demanded Supreme War Leader Vextar, the most powerful Velkari in their empire. A terrified communications officer burst into the command chamber. "Ships, sir? Human ships." They appeared from nowhere all around our orbital defense platforms. Through the massive windows of the government building, they could see human warships hanging in space above their world. The ships were dark and sleek, with hulls that seemed to absorb light. They looked nothing like the old broken vessels the Velkari had been fighting for years. "How many ships?" asked Vextar, his voice tight with growing fear. 50, sir. Maybe more. They're larger than our biggest battleships." Strike Team Leader Jang Hyo-jin stood in the armory of the assault transport Silent Thunder. Around her, 100 human soldiers were putting on powered armor that made them look like walking tanks. Each suit was filled with advanced technology that turned ordinary humans into living weapons of war. "Remember your objectives," said Hyo-jin as she checked her own armor systems. "We need their military leaders alive for questioning. We want complete information about their remaining forces and their allies." The soldiers nodded silently. They had trained for this exact mission for years. Every building in every alien capital had been mapped by human spies. Every guard post was known and catalogued. Every security system had been studied and defeated in simulation hundreds of times. "Also remember," added Hyo-jin with a dangerous smile, "no more pretending to move slowly and clumsily. Show them how fast humans can really move when we stop holding back." The assault ship landed directly in the center of the Velkari capital city. Local security forces surrounded it immediately, expecting to fight the same weak, slow humans they had been defeating for years. Instead, 100 metal giants exploded out of the ship, moving faster than the aliens could track with their eyes. The Velkari soldiers barely had time to raise their weapons before the humans were among them, moving like deadly shadows and striking with impossible precision. Cyber warfare specialist Lee Da-young worked from a hidden command center deep beneath Earth's surface. Her fingers danced across holographic controls as she launched coordinated attacks on alien computer networks throughout the galaxy. The aliens thought their systems were protected by the most advanced security possible. They were wrong. "Penetrating the Korath military network now," she reported calmly. "Their quantum encryption is exactly what we expected it to be, breaking it with standard protocols." Around her, dozens of other specialists worked on different targets. In minutes, they took complete control of alien communication systems, defense grids, power plants, and even life support systems on military bases. "Velkari planetary defenses are now under our control," reported another specialist. "Their own orbital weapons are targeting their ships." "Korath battle fleet is dead in space," said a third. "I've shut down their engines, weapons, and navigation systems. They're floating helplessly." The aliens discovered that their supposedly advanced computer technology was like children's toys compared to human quantum processing systems. While they had been laughing at human primitive computers, humans had developed processing power that was centuries beyond alien understanding. Captain Shin Woo-jin led the direct assault on Velkari core worlds. His battle group used human jump gates to appear instantly in the heart of Velkari space, bypassing all their outer defenses and early warning systems. Primary targets are the military command stations. He ordered his fleet. Secondary targets are government communication centers. Civilian populations are not to be harmed unless they actively resist our forces. The Velkari Home Defense Fleet tried desperately to respond to the sudden attack. Their ships were well designed and their crews were experienced fighters. But they had been built to fight other aliens with similar technology and similar tactics. They had never faced weapons that fired projectiles at the speed of light or energy, beams that could slice through any known armor. They had never fought enemies who could predict their every move because they had been studying Velkari military tactics for 50 years. Enemy. Command ship destroyed, reported his weapons. Officer with professional satisfaction. That eliminates their primary fleet coordination. Second wave of defenders approaching from the outer system, said the tactical officer. 150 ships, including their newest heavy cruisers. Handle them, said Wu Jin calmly, as if he was discussing the weather. The human ships moved through space with perfect coordination and impossible speed. Every shot they fired hit exactly where it was aimed. Every tactical maneuver was calculated to maximum advantage. The aliens fought with desperate courage, but they were fighting an enemy that was superior in every possible way. On the Velkari homeworld surface, Supreme War Leader Vextar watched his orbital defense platforms being systematically destroyed. Human ships danced around them like they were standing still, striking with devastating precision and vanishing before return fire could reach them. How are they moving so fast? He demanded. How are their weapons so much more powerful than ours? His military advisor looked up from his data screens with growing panic in his voice. Sir, we're receiving similar reports from all our worlds. The humans are attacking everywhere at once. They have more ships than our intelligence report said was possible. That's impossible. We counted their entire fleet. We know exactly how many ships they have. Sir, said the aide very quietly, I don't think we were counting the right ships. I think we were only seeing what they wanted us to see. Vextar stared out the window at human warships that should not have been able to exist. Everything his species believed about humans had been completely wrong. The humans the Velkari had met and fought were not weak or primitive or barely capable of space travel. They had been incredibly advanced warriors deliberately pretending to be something else. Earth was not a peaceful world that had accidentally developed spaceflight. It was a planet where everything tried to kill everything else. And humans had become the ultimate survivors by adapting and improving themselves beyond natural limits. Every clumsy human movement had been carefully calculated acting. Every weak human response had been strategic deception. Every primitive human technology had been deliberately designed to look simple while hiding incredible sophistication. Strike Team Leader. Zhang Hyojin moved through the Velkari government complex like a ghost made of metal and death. Her powered armor made no sound and left no trace as she passed through security systems that had been turned off by human hackers. She found Supreme War Leader Vextar in his command center, still trying to understand how his entire civilization's military was being destroyed by the species he had thought was weak prey. Supreme War Leader, she said, stepping into the room. Vextar turned around and saw a human warrior in gleaming armor that made her look like a machine built for killing. She was tall and moved with deadly grace that no Velkari could match. This is impossible, he whispered. Humans cannot move like that. Humans are not that strong or that fast. We are, said Hyojin simply. We always were. We just chose not to show you until now. More human soldiers appeared in the doorways around the room. They had taken the entire government building without anyone even knowing they were there. Your military forces are defeated, said Hyojin. Your fleets are destroyed. Your allies are surrendering. The war you started is over and you lost. Diplomatic Corps Chief Quan Sujin appeared on screens throughout alien space at exactly the same moment. Her message was broadcast simultaneously to every alien government, every military base, and every major population center in known space. Leaders of the Terran Suppression Coalition, she said. Her voice carried absolute authority and calm confidence. Your unprovoked attacks on human civilian populations have resulted in the complete destruction of your military capabilities. The Velkari fleet approached Luna City with complete confidence. War Prime Thexkar commanded from his flagship, a massive vessel called Death's Promise that had destroyed dozens of worlds over the centuries. Around him flew ships from 11 other species, all eager to share in the destruction of humanity's most important colony. "The human settlement grows larger on our screens," reported his weapons officer. "Their defenses are exactly as pathetic as our intelligence reported. A few old missile platforms and some basic mining equipment. Nothing that could threaten even our smallest ships." Thexkar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Begin the bombardment. Destroy their defensive positions first, then level every building. I want no survivors to tell other humans what happened here today." The alien fleet opened fire with hundreds of energy weapons. Bright beams of deadly light shot toward Luna's surface, expecting to cut through human defenses like they always had. The aliens had done this many times before. Human colonies were always easy targets. But something impossible happened. The energy beams hit invisible barriers in space and scattered harmlessly in all directions. Where there had been empty darkness around Luna, massive structures suddenly appeared. They were huge, angular, and clearly built for war. Weapon platforms larger than most alien ships hung motionless in the void around the moon. "What is happening?" shouted Thexkar. "Where did those platforms come from?" Our sensors showed nothing but empty space. His tactical officer stared at his instruments in confusion and fear. "Sir, I don't understand. Those structures are enormous, but they weren't there a moment ago. It's like they were invisible." "Nothing can be invisible to our sensors." "Sir," said the weapons officer quietly, "I think they were using some kind of stealth technology we've never seen before." Before Thexkar could respond, the platforms opened fire. Captain Huang Xiongmin stood on the bridge of the True Destiny as his ship materialized from nothingness. The kilometer-long dreadnought had been hiding behind advanced stealth technology, waiting for exactly this moment. "Stealth systems deactivated," reported his navigation officer. "All alien ships can see us now, Captain." "Good," said Xiongmin with a cold smile. "I want them to see us. I want them to understand what they're really fighting." The True Destiny was nothing like the old broken ships the aliens knew about. Its hull was made of smooth black metal that seemed to absorb light itself. Strange energy patterns flowed along its surface like living things. It was clearly built by a civilization far more advanced than anything the aliens had encountered. The alien ships looked tiny next to it. Tactical Officer Park. Sora studied the alien formation on her screens while her fingers moved quickly over holographic controls. "Analyzing enemy attack patterns and cross-referencing with our database," she said. "Perfect match with standard Velkari assault formation. They're using the same tactics they've used for the last 100 years. "And what does our analysis tell us about those tactics?" asked Captain Sungmin. "They're completely predictable, sir. We know exactly what they'll do next because we've been watching them do it for 50 years. Weapons specialist Oh Chang-ho powered up the ship's main armament. "Alien shield frequencies identified and cataloged," he reported. "Their energy defenses are designed to stop weapons similar to their own technology. They have almost no protection against kinetic projectiles." "Then let's give them some kinetic projectiles," said Xiongmin. The True Destiny fired its main guns, but these were not the simple ballistic weapons the aliens expected humans to use. These were electromagnetic railguns that accelerated metal projectiles to nearly the speed of light. The slugs hit alien ships and passed completely through them like they were made of paper. 3 alien cruisers exploded in brilliant flashes of light. On Thexkar's flagship, alarms screamed and warning lights flashed red throughout the bridge. "Damage report," he yelled over the noise. "Unknown vessel attacking from our left flank," said his tactical officer, his voice shaking with fear. "Their weapons are..." "Impossible, sir. Our shields do absolutely nothing against them." "Impossible! They're just humans. They have primitive technology that barely works." "Sir, I'm reading energy signatures that are centuries beyond our understanding. That ship should not be able to exist." More alien ships exploded as human weapon platforms continued their devastating attack. The platforms used different types of weapons than the True Destiny. Some fired beams of pure energy that cut alien vessels in half like knives through soft fruit. Others launched guided missiles that seemed to think for themselves, dodging alien defenses and finding weak spots in enemy armor. Admiral Wang Jihun coordinated the battle from his command center deep inside Earth's moon. Around him, dozens of screens showed human defense systems activating throughout the galaxy. What the aliens had thought were simple human settlements were revealing themselves to be heavily fortified military installations. "Mining Station 7 is now combat platform." "7," reported one of his officers. "Communication. Array 12 is now weapons platform. 12, said another. Transport Hub 15 has deployed. Its hidden weapon systems. All across human space, the masquerade was ending. Ships that had looked old and weak for decades suddenly powered up systems that made them faster and more dangerous than anything in alien fleets. Space stations that appeared to be simple research facilities unfolded into massive weapon platforms that could destroy entire squadrons. Director Moon Hae-jin began broadcasting to every inhabited world in the galaxy from Earth's capital city. The signal was so powerful that it overrode local communication systems on hundreds of alien planets. Every government leader in known space heard her words. Citizens and leaders of the galaxy, she said. Her voice was calm but carried absolute authority. For 50 years, humanity has chosen to appear weak and primitive. This was not because we lacked the ability to build advanced technology. This was a deliberate decision to avoid unnecessary conflict. On alien worlds across the galaxy, leaders stopped everything they were doing and listened in growing shock and horror. We did not need to steal or copy your technology to reach space. We developed our own starships in complete secrecy before we ever made contact with any of you. We have spent 5 decades studying every species we encountered, learning your strengths, your weaknesses, your military capabilities, and your intentions toward humanity. The broadcast showed images that made alien military leaders go pale with fear. Human shipyards hidden inside asteroids. Weapon platforms disguised as mining equipment. Human agents who had been living on alien worlds for years, gathering intelligence and mapping strategic targets. You believed we were weak because that belief served your purposes. You wanted to see us as easy prey, so you ignored obvious questions. You never asked how a primitive species could build ships that never broke down. You never wondered why our simple technology worked so reliably. You saw exactly what you wanted to see. Scientist Kim Yoon-hee appeared on the broadcast next. She stood in a laboratory filled with equipment that looked like it came from dreams of the far future. Humanity has been improving itself for generations, she said matter-of-factly. We have enhanced our biology, increased our intelligence, and improved our physical capabilities far beyond natural baseline human norms. The screen showed a human soldier moving so fast he appeared as a blur to normal eyes. Another human lifted a piece of equipment that should have required a machine. A human pilot flew through an obstacle course that would have killed anyone else trying to follow the same path. We are stronger, faster, and more intelligent than we have allowed you to believe, said Yuna. This is what happens when a species from a dangerous world decides to improve itself through science and determination. Back at Luna, the alien fleet was being systematically destroyed. More than half their ships were gone and the rest were trying desperately to retreat. But human ships were faster than alien ships, and human weapons had much longer range than anything the aliens possessed. Dexcar's flagship shook violently as another human projectile tore through its hull. Emergency systems struggled to contain the damage while crew members ran screaming through smoke-filled corridors. This cannot be happening, Dexcar screamed. How can primitives have such advanced weapons? His tactical officer looked up from his station with absolute terror in his eyes. Sir, I don't think they're primitives. I think we made the worst mistake in galactic history. Captain Hwang Seung-min opened a communication channel to the alien flagship. His face appeared on Thexcar's main screen, showing no emotion except calm confidence. War Prime Thexcar, he said politely. I am Captain Hwang Seung-min of the United Earth Space Navy. You came here today to destroy a human colony because you believed we were too weak to defend ourselves. Thexcar stared at the human face on his screen. There was no fear there, no desperation, no pleading, only the cold confidence of someone who held all the advantages. You made a serious error in judgment, continued Seung-min. We have been preparing for this day for 50 years. Every attack on our people, every destroyed colony, every murdered civilian has been carefully recorded. Today we begin collecting payment for those crimes. Around Thexcar's crippled ship, more human vessels appeared from nowhere. Ambassador Choi Eun-ji walked into the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. Her simple black clothes looked plain and cheap next to the bright robes and shining armor of the alien diplomats. She carried only a small datapad and walked slowly to the center of the circular room. The aliens watched her with amusement and contempt. To them, she was just another weak human begging for mercy that would never come. Some of them were already smiling, expecting to hear another pathetic plea for peace. The Velkari War Prime Thexcar sat on his massive throne made of black metal. He was 3 times taller than any human, With 4 glowing red eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth, his voice boomed across the hall when he spoke. "Look, everyone. The human wants to talk again. How amusing. What do the prey animals have to say today?" The other aliens laughed loudly. There were representatives from 50 different species in the hall, and they all thought the same thing. Humans were weak, stupid, and would soon be extinct. Many of them had already started planning how to divide human territory among themselves. Yunji stood perfectly still until the laughter stopped. She had been preparing for this moment for 20 years. Every word she would speak had been carefully planned. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," she said. Her voice was calm and clear, carrying easily through the huge room. "I bring an important message from the United Government of Earth and all human colonies." "Another surrender offer?" said the Korath ambassador, whose name had too many clicking sounds for human tongues to pronounce. That would save everyone a lot of time and trouble. More laughter filled the hall. Some aliens pointed at Yunji and made jokes in their own languages. Others whispered to each other about how they would use human worlds after the humans were gone. Yunji waited patiently for the noise to die down, then continued speaking. "For 50 years, humanity has tried to live in peace with all species. We have traded fairly with everyone. We have followed every galactic law. We have never attacked anyone or taken anything that didn't belong to us." "Because you are too weak to attack anyone," said Thexkar, his red eyes glowing brighter with amusement. "Because you are too primitive to take anything worth having." "But attacks on human ships and colonies have increased dramatically," said Yunji, ignoring the insult. 17 different species have joined together to attack us. You call yourselves the Terran Suppression Coalition. You have killed thousands of our people and destroyed dozens of our peaceful settlements. War is natural, said another alien ambassador whose species looked like giant insects. The strong take from the weak. The smart take from the stupid. This has always been the way of the galaxy. Yunji looked directly at War Prime Thexkar. Her expression never changed, but her voice became more formal. "The government of Earth offers you this final opportunity for peace. Stop all attacks on human ships and colonies immediately. Leave our territory and never return. Pay reasonable compensation for the damage you have done to our people and property." The hall exploded with the loudest laughter yet. Some aliens fell off their chairs. Others pointed at Yunji and slapped their knees or tentacles or whatever they used for hands. The noise was so loud it hurt human ears. Thexkar's laugh was the loudest and most mocking of all. "Or what, little human? Will you throw rocks at our battle fleets? Will you send us angry messages asking us very nicely to stop killing you?" Yunji waited for the laughter to stop completely before answering. "Or humanity will defend itself using all available resources and methods." This made the aliens laugh even harder than before. "Your available resources?" said Thexkar, wiping tears from his red eyes. "Your old broken ships and your ancient weapons? Your tiny colonies and your primitive technology that barely works? Those are our terms," said Yunji simply. "This is your last chance to choose peace over war." While the Galactic Council was busy laughing at humanity's final warning, something very different was happening in the darkness of space. Captain Ryu Dongjin stood in a place that did not officially exist. The hidden shipyards were built inside hollow asteroids throughout the solar system. For 50 years, humans had been building a secret fleet here, far from alien eyes and sensors. All stations. "Begin activation sequence," said Captain Dongjin into his communicator. All around him in the darkness, massive shapes began to move and come to life. These were not the old broken ships the aliens knew about. These were the real human warships built with technology the aliens had never seen. Each ship was 3 times larger than the biggest alien battleship. Each one carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Thousands of lights appeared in the darkness as the hidden fleet powered up for the first time in decades. The ships were sleek and beautiful, with smooth black hulls that seemed to absorb light itself. Strange energy patterns moved along their surfaces like living things. Engineer Bae Soo-young worked at her control station deep inside Luna, Earth's moon. Above her head, hidden under fake mining equipment, was humanity's real planetary defense system. The aliens thought the structures on Luna's surface were just simple mining tools and communication arrays. They had no idea that each mining station could destroy a battleship with a single shot. "Defense. Grid coming online," she reported to her commander. "All weapon platforms are ready. All shield generators are operational. The aliens won't know what hit them. Excellent, said her commander. 50 years of pretending to be weak miners. I hope they enjoyed the joke. Intelligence Officer Song Jun-ki received coded messages from human agents scattered throughout alien space. These agents had been pretending to be refugees, traders, and diplomats for years. But they were really elite soldiers and spies who had been mapping every alien military base, government building, and strategic resource. Strike teams report they are in position, he said to his supervisor. We have eyes on every major alien target. Every important alien leader is being watched. Every military base has been studied and mapped. And our sleeper agents? Ready to activate. The aliens have no idea how many humans are already living among them, just waiting for orders. The response to Earth's warning came much faster than anyone expected. Instead of taking time to discuss the human ultimatum or trying to negotiate, the alien coalition decided to end the human problem immediately and permanently. A massive fleet of 800 alien ships left Valkyrie space and headed straight for Luna City, humanity's oldest and most important colony outside Earth. The fleet included vessels from 12 different species, all working together to destroy what they saw as humanity's most valuable target. The aliens were confident this attack would break human morale completely. Once Luna fell, Earth itself would surrender without a fight, and the human problem would be solved forever. Colonel Lim Ji-hai commanded Luna City's defenses. She watched the approaching alien fleet on her screens and calmly activated the emergency evacuation procedures. All civilians to the deep underground shelters, she ordered. This is not a drill. Move quickly, but don't panic. But even as thousands of civilians hurried to safety, Colonel Ji-hai was not worried about the battle to come. She knew something the aliens did not know. Luna City's defenses were not what they appeared to be. On Earth, Admiral Yoon So-jin watched the alien fleet approaching Luna through her command center's main screen. This was the moment 50 years of careful planning had been building toward. The moment when the masquerade would end and the galaxy would see humanity's true face. Are all our forces ready? She asked. Every ship, every weapon, every defense system, replied Dr. Lee Hyun-sik. 50 years of preparation is about to be put to the test. And our people in alien territory? Ready to strike the moment we give the word, said Agent Nam Hye-jin. The aliens have no idea how completely we've infiltrated their space. So-jin nodded slowly. The plan had always been elegant in its simplicity. Let the aliens think humans were weak and primitive. Learn everything about alien technology, tactics, and weaknesses. Build vastly superior weapons and ships in secret. Place human agents throughout alien territory. Then when the aliens finally tried to destroy humanity completely, show them the truth. Send the activation codes to all units, ordered So-jin. It's time to drop the masquerade. Across human space, things that had looked harmless for decades suddenly revealed their true nature. Mining stations unfolded into weapon platforms. Communication arrays extended massive gun barrels. Simple transport ships powered up military-grade engines and weapon systems. The aliens approaching Luna City were about to receive the biggest shock in galactic history. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Choi Yun-ji had finished delivering humanity's final warning. The aliens were still laughing and making jokes about weak humans and their pathetic threats. Your warning has been noted, said War Prime Thexkar, still chuckling. We will consider it carefully while we destroy your precious Luna colony and show the galaxy what happens to species that annoy their betters. Yun-ji looked at him with calm, steady eyes. I hope you remember this conversation in the coming hours, War Prime. You may find that your perspective changes significantly. She turned and walked out of the hall, leaving behind a room full of aliens who thought they had just heard the funniest joke in galactic history. They would not be laughing much longer. Captain Kim Tae-ho stood on the bridge of the UES Harmony and watched the stars through the cracked viewing screen. The ship looked old and broken, just like all human ships did. Paint peeled from the walls and strange noises came from the engines. Any alien who saw it would think humans were poor and weak. That was exactly what Earth wanted them to think. Commander Park Ji-woo walked up with a datapad in his hands. His face was serious and tired. Captain, we got another report. The Valkyrie hit 3 more colony ships yesterday. 200 families were on those ships. Tae-ho closed his eyes for a moment. 200 more families. 200 more reasons why the lie was getting harder to keep up. Any survivors? 12. They were in the escape pods when the ships exploded. Jiwoo's voice was angry. The aliens didn't even try to capture them. They just killed everyone and took the ships for scrap metal. Send the report to Earth Command, said Taeho quietly. Mark it as priority 1. On Earth, Admiral Yoon So-jin sat in a room deep underground. The room had no windows and thick metal walls that could stop any weapon. Around a long table sat the most important people in the human government. They all looked tired and worried. The weight of 50 years of secrets was heavy on their shoulders. How many attacks this month? Asked So-jin. Her voice was calm, but her hands were tight on the table. Dr. Lee Hyun-sik looked at his notes. The numbers were getting worse every week. 17 confirmed attacks. The Velkari Empire hit 8 of our ships. The Koreth Republic destroyed 4 colonies on the outer rim. The other attacks came from 5 different species. They think we can't fight back, said General Kang Min-ho. His fists were closed tight on the table. They see our old ships and broken equipment and think we're easy targets for anyone who wants to take what we have. Agent Nam Hye-jin had just returned from 2 years in alien space. She had been pretending to be a refugee, living on alien worlds and listening to their plans. The aliens are talking more freely now, Admiral. They call us the weak ones and easy meat. Some of them make jokes about hunting humans for sport. So Jin was not surprised. Humans had known this attitude was growing for years. What are their long-term plans? They're organizing, said Hye-jin. 17 different species have joined together. They call it the Terran Suppression Coalition. They meet every month to plan attacks on human space. And what do they want from us? Everything. The Velkari want our agricultural worlds because we grow food better than they do. The Koreth want our mining planets because we find resources they miss. The smaller species just want us gone so they can take our territory. For 50 years, Earth had been playing a very dangerous game. When humans first built starships and found other species in space, they could have shown their real technology. Their ships were faster and stronger than anything the aliens had. Their weapons could destroy entire fleets. Their defenses could stop any attack. Instead, they chose to look weak and stupid. They flew in ships that looked old and broken. They used weapons that seemed simple and primitive. They acted like they were lucky to have space travel at all. They let aliens think that humans had found some alien technology and barely learned how to copy it. The aliens believed every bit of it. While the aliens laughed at human technology, humans were learning everything about them. Every alien ship that came to human space was scanned with hidden sensors. Every piece of alien technology was studied and understood completely. Human spies lived on alien worlds for years, learning their languages, their cultures, their military secrets, and their weaknesses. The masquerade has worked perfectly, said Dr. Hyun-sik. We know everything about them now. Their weapons, their ships, their governments, their military bases, their supply lines, their communication codes. We even know which alien leaders can be trusted and which ones lie to their own people. But innocent people are dying, said General Min-ho. Our people. Families with children. Farmers and miners and traders who never hurt anyone. How long do we keep pretending to be weak while they murder us? So-jin understood his anger. She felt it too. Every human leader felt it. Every report of dead civilians was like a knife in their hearts. But the plan had always been bigger than just one battle or one war. Show them, she said to Dr. Hyun-sik. The doctor pressed a button and the room filled with 3-dimensional pictures made of light. The pictures showed alien ships, alien weapons, and alien soldiers in perfect detail. We have been watching them for 50 years. We know exactly how strong they are. More important, we know exactly how weak they are. The pictures changed to show human ships. But these were not the old broken ships the aliens had seen. These ships were huge and beautiful and clearly built for war. Their hulls were smooth and dark, covered with weapons that looked like they could crack planets in half. Our real fleet has 5,000 ships, continued Dr. Hyun-sik. Each one could destroy an entire alien fleet by itself. Each one has technology that's centuries ahead of anything the aliens understand. Our weapons are not the simple projectile guns they think we use, he said as the pictures showed. Massive energy cannons and missile systems. We have energy weapons that can cut through their best armor like it was made of paper. We have kinetic weapons that can fire projectiles at nearly the speed of light. General Min-ho leaned forward. Then why are we still hiding? Why are we letting them kill our people when we could end this war in a week? Because we're not fighting one species, said So-jin. We're fighting 17 species working together. If we had shown our strength too early, they might have brought in even more allies. They might have convinced other species that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to live. The war would be bigger and cost many more lives. Agent Hyojin spoke up. There's something else, Admiral. The aliens are getting more confident every month. Some of their leaders are talking about a final solution to the human problem. They want to attack Earth itself and wipe out our entire species. The room went completely quiet. Everyone knew this moment would eventually come. The moment when they would have to choose between keeping their secret and protecting human lives. How long do we have? Asked Sojin. Maybe 6 months, said Hyojin. Maybe less if they get impatient. The Velkari are building their largest fleet ever. The other species are sending their best ships to help them. Sojin looked around the table at the faces of Earth's leaders. 50 years of planning had led to this moment. 50 years of letting aliens think humans were weak and stupid and barely capable of spaceflight. 50 years of being laughed at and attacked and treated like animals that had learned to use tools. We give them one last chance, she said finally. One final diplomatic warning. We tell them to stop attacking us or face the consequences. They'll laugh at us, said General Minho. They always do. Yes, said Sojin. They will laugh. And then they'll probably attack us anyway because they think we can't fight back. And then we drop the masquerade and show them what humans really are. Dr. Hyun-sik smiled for the first time in the meeting. The aliens think they know humans. They think we're weak because they've only seen us acting weak. They don't understand that acting weak and being weak are two completely different things. Send the message to Ambassador Choi Yoon-ji, said Sojin. Tell her to request an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Tell her to make our final offer to stop this before it gets worse. As the leaders left the room, Sojin stayed behind and looked at the pictures of alien fleets floating in the air. Soon those fleets would learn what humans really were. Soon the galaxy would understand that the weak, primitive humans had been something else entirely. Soon the masquerade would end, and the real war would begin. On the bridge of the Harmony, Captain Tejo received the encrypted message from Earth. He read it twice, then deleted it and looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were getting ready to attack Earth and destroy humanity forever. They had no idea what was waiting for them. 6 months after the war ended, President Yu Kyung-ho walked into the rebuilt Galactic Council chamber. The room looked completely different now. The old arrangement that had put some alien species above others was gone. Now all species sat at the same level around a circular table, with humans holding a permanent position at the center. The aliens who had once laughed at humanity now watched Kyung-ho with respect mixed with fear. They had learned what happened when you made the mistake of thinking humans were weak. Honored representatives of all galactic species, said Kyung-ho as he took his seat. 6 months ago, some of you believed that humans were primitive and could be easily destroyed. You were very wrong about that. The alien representatives sat quietly and listened. Many of them were new leaders who had replaced the old ones after their government surrendered. The species that had refused to surrender no longer had anyone left to send to council meetings. But humanity never wanted to conquer anyone. Continued Kyung-ho. We only wanted peace and the right to exist safely. Now that we have proven our strength, we wish to use that strength to protect all peaceful species in the galaxy. Ambassador Choi Yoon-ji, who had delivered the final warning that the aliens had laughed at, now sat at the human table as Earth's chief diplomatic officer. She remembered how they had mocked her and treated her like a joke. None of them were laughing anymore. The galaxy faces threats that are much more dangerous than anything we have fought so far, said Kyung-ho. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected clear signs of extragalactic invaders. Ships from outside our galaxy are approaching, and they appear to be hostile to all life. This was shocking news to most of the alien representatives. Only the most advanced species had technology good enough to detect signals from beyond the galaxy's edge. Humans had been quietly tracking the approaching threat for many years. Humanity offers to share our military knowledge and advanced technology to help defend all our worlds, said Kyung-ho. But this cooperation must be based on mutual respect and equality. The days of some species thinking they are better than others are over forever. Marshal Kim Hae-won stood in the new military coordination center built on Luna, where the war had started. Around her, screens showed human military advisors working alongside alien defense forces on hundreds of different worlds. The integration had taken months of careful work, but it was succeeding beyond all expectations. Report from the Velkari defensive sector, said her aide. Human tactical advisors have improved their military efficiency by 400% in just 3 months. What about the Koreth Republic? Even better results. They're requesting additional human advisors for their outer colonies. They say human defensive strategies are unlike anything they ever imagined. Haiwan nodded with satisfaction. The aliens had been amazed to discover that human military science was not just more advanced than theirs, but was based on completely different principles. Humans understood strategy, tactics, and logistics in ways that made alien warfare look like children playing with toys. More importantly, humans understood something most alien species had never learned: how to fight as a unified team across vast distances. Most aliens fought as individuals or small groups with poor coordination. Humans had perfected the art of coordinating massive military operations across multiple star systems simultaneously. Research Director An Min-soo worked in the new Galactic Research Institute built in Earth's orbit. The massive station was filled with scientists from dozens of species, all working together on projects that would have been impossible for any single species to complete alone. The Velkari gravitational field research is really fascinating, he said to his assistant, Dr. Park Soo-jin. If we combine their theories with our quantum manipulation technology, we might be able to develop instant communication across any distance. What about the Koreth biological studies? Even more promising. They understand living systems in ways we never considered before. If we combine their biological knowledge with our genetic enhancement techniques, we could help every species live longer, healthier, and more productive lives. The sharing of knowledge was carefully controlled. Humans shared enough technology to help their new allies become much stronger, but kept the most dangerous secrets safely hidden. The galaxy was advancing rapidly, but Earth remained the clear technological leader. Trade Commissioner Jung Tae-young walked through Earth's new commercial district, which had been built specifically for alien traders and diplomats. The area bustled with activity as ships from dozens of species landed every day, bringing goods and resources to trade with humans. How are the new trade agreements working? Asked his assistant. Much better than we expected, said Jung with a smile. Alien demand for human products is enormous. Our entertainment, our food, our technology, our art, they want to buy everything we make. And what about their products? Also very valuable to us. The Velkari create metal alloys that are perfect for our shipbuilding. The Koreth have biological products that improve our medical technology. Even the species that fought against us are now some of our best trading partners. The economic changes had been as dramatic as the military ones. Earth had become the galaxy's new center of trade and commerce, not through force but through superior products and fair business practices. But the most important changes were not in technology or trade. They were in how different species thought about each other. Admiral Yoon So-jin stood in her new office overlooking Earth's expanded capital city. Through the huge windows, she could see aliens walking peacefully alongside humans in the busy streets below. Alien children played with human children in the parks. Alien students attended classes in human universities. The transformation has been remarkable, said Dr. Lee Hyun-sik, joining her at the window. 6 months ago, these species wanted to wipe us out completely. Now they're asking us to teach them everything we know. Fear can become respect if you handle it properly, said So-jin. And respect can become friendship if you give it time. Do you think this peace will last? So-jin pointed toward the sky, where massive construction projects were building new orbital facilities. But these were not weapon platforms like the ones used in the war. They were monitoring stations and research facilities designed to watch for the extragalactic threat that was still approaching. It will last, because it has to, she said seriously. The real enemy hasn't arrived yet. Deep in Earth's most advanced monitoring facilities, scientists worked around the clock, watching the edge of the galaxy for signs of the approaching invaders. The signals were getting stronger every month. Whatever was coming was enormous, clearly hostile, and would arrive within 8 years. Humanity's 50-year masquerade had worked exactly as planned. By pretending to be weak, humans had studied every species in the galaxy and learned how to defeat them completely. But defeating them had never been the real goal. The true purpose had always been to unite the galaxy under human leadership before the outside threat arrived. Captain Kim Tae-ho, now promoted to admiral, stood on the bridge of his new flagship. The new Harmony was 15 times larger than his old ship, and carried technology from many different species. His crew included humans, Velkari, Koreth, and other aliens all working together as equals. Long-range sensors are detecting increased movement at the galaxy's outer edge, reported his tactical officer, a Velkari named Kexmore, who had once tried to kill humans and now considered them his closest friends. "How much time do we have before the extragalactic forces arrive?" asked Tejo. "Approximately 7 years at their current speed of approach." Tejo nodded thoughtfully. 7 years to prepare for the greatest threat the galaxy had ever faced. 7 years to turn former enemies into trusted allies. 7 years to prove that the long masquerade had been worth all the sacrifice and patience. "Send a priority message to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them we're ready to begin the next phase of the plan." The next phase would be the ultimate test. Humanity had proven it could defeat the galaxy's current inhabitants when necessary. Now they had to prove they could save all of them from something much more dangerous. In the Galactic Council chamber, President Yu Kyung-ho finished his presentation about the approaching threat and looked around at the faces of alien representatives from across known space. They were no longer enemies or even reluctant partners. They were allies in the fight for survival. "The masquerade is completely over," he said quietly. "Now the real work begins." Outside the chamber, Ambassador Choi Eun-ji met with General Jang Hyo-jin, who had been promoted after her successful military operations. They had both played important parts in humanity's greatest deception. "Do you think they truly understand why we did all this?" asked Eun-ji. "The intelligent ones are starting to figure it out," said Hyo-jin. "They realize that if we had shown our real strength 50 years ago, the entire galaxy would have united against us. We would have won that war, but we would have been completely alone when the real enemy finally arrived. And now," Hyo-jin looked up at the busy sky, where ships from dozens of species worked together to build the galaxy's new defenses against the coming invasion. "Now we have true allies instead of conquered subjects. We have partners instead of prisoners."